This is Matt Russell, and welcome to the Daily FX Forum.
So here are the 5 pairs that I will be discussing this evening: the Euro Pound, the Aussie Kiwi, the Pound Swiss, the Euro Swiss, as well as the Euro Aussie. So let's go ahead and pull up the charts. The first chart is the Euro Pound. If you recall, during yesterday's report, I mentioned the breakout beneath that 88.40 area, which was previous support, might now act as resistance. And again, I consider this to be a substantial breakout. And I mentioned yesterday entering short trades at 88.23 with a stop at 89.23, which was catastrophic. I just wanted another day to make sure prices did not spike back above that 88.40 area. So right now I'd move down the stop. Hopefully you all got long at, all got short at 88.23 as prices actually came up to about 88.30 after I spoke last night. So you should be in this trade on the short side from at least 88.23 or if not 88.30. So moving forward now, I'd move down that stop to about 88.75. Again, I'd need another close beneath this line to move that stop a little tighter above that line. So again, keep the stop at 88.75 and remain in the trade. The next chart is the Aussie Kiwi. Not much has changed here. Still the short trade short from 25.45. Prices right now about 25.16. Keeping the stop at the 126 figure, and I will update during tomorrow's report. Tentatively, I don't imagine this happening within the next 24 hours, but I might go ahead and just put in a limit order just in case at about 24.45, as that's these previous lows over here, and also we might get some potential trend line support. So again, we should be short from 25.45, stop at 126, and put in a limit at 24.45. The next chart is the Pound Swiss, and not much has really changed here. Again, I'm just trading the Euro Pound rather than the Pound Swiss, and these are acting as the inverse of each other, at least during the past several months, so I'm just going to stay on the sidelines. The next chart is the Euro Swiss, and prices right now about 47.44. As I mentioned during the last report, was stopped out with about a small 18 pip loss. Moving forward now, I kind of like the long side here, using this doji over here as a reference point. The low is 47.22, so this might be another low risk trade that we might enter. My confidence is not that high, but again, the risk is low, and there's a chance that prices could form a substantial rally here. So I would go ahead and enter right now long 147.44 with a stop at 147.20. So again, that would be long 147.44 with a stop at 147.20. The next chart is the Euro Aussie, and if you were in that trade that I mentioned during the past 2 reports, which was long 55.70 with a stop at 55.10. You were stopped out during yesterday's session as prices came down to 55.02. So moving forward now, the double bottom potential is still there. Obviously, I'd like it to be a little bit cleaner, but only an 8 pip penetration. It's not too much. And with right now prices hovering just above that level, I would go ahead and enter again here on the long side. Would be long 55.36 and place a stop just beneath the low of this candle right here, which is 55.02, right, maybe just right at the figure, right at 55 even. So again, that would be long 55.36 with a stop at 155. And again, I realize that I'm trying to pick a bottom here, but I am keeping the risk relatively tight. And if prices do bottom here, there's a chance for at least a couple of 100 pip rally here towards that 159 area. So in my mind, it's worth the risk. Again, my name is Matt Russell. Thanks for listening, and please stay tuned for a preview of the Daily FX Forums. I want to take this opportunity to formally welcome you all to the Daily FX Forums. I want to go through the process of how I personally access the forums and how maybe you at home, if you want to access the forums in the future, might do so. The first thing you would do is go to www.dailyfx.com, and that will bring up, obviously, dailyfx.com, and usually there on the upper right hand corner, I'll go ahead and click on where it says forum, and that will bring up the first page of the forums. And this view, I personally don't use this view, but this view actually shows you the most recent posts on all the threads within the different sections and a little detail about those posts, so you can read through and see if there's something catches your interest. But personally, I go ahead and just click on forums and view them in the more traditional sense. Now, these are different threads within the forum. There's a section on education, such as Daily FX course instructor tips, which would be good for newer traders, and then for more advanced traders. And I just want to go ahead, personally, the way I use the forums is I would go through the individual threads, just looking for trade ideas, maybe looking at charts, looking at certain lines that maybe I didn't put up on my chart, but another trader might have put up on their chart. I tend to, shy away from using direct trade recommendations from other forum members, but it helps me to sort of even out my analysis, make sure that I'm seeing things with the right mind in terms of I might be missing stuff that other traders can see, and that's my personal way of using the forum. Every trader is going to be a little bit different in how they use it. So if you want to ask questions, if you want to become an active participant of the members, you would have to go ahead and register. So that's what I'm going to go through now, is the registration process. So assuming you're brand new to the forums, or maybe you've been here a few times and you're not really sure how it works, so I just want to walk through again the registration process. This would be the front page where you would access, or the previous page. You'd have the same little box here on the left hand side. Obviously, my username and password are already filled out here, but assuming you're a new member, you would click on where it says register, and that will bring up the registration page. If you give me one moment here while my browser loads. And actually first we're going to have some terms of service and DailyFX forum rules. I do suggest reading through the forum rules. Obviously, profanity and spam and things like that are not allowed, but it also gives you insight on how to use the forum and how different traders can use it, in terms of their individual needs. So you would go down to the bottom there. You'd click on where it says I have read all the rules, and then you would go ahead to the register, the formal registration page, and that will bring up here. And you can go ahead and select the username, and how about we'll use 4x, and that name is already in use, so maybe add a few more x's there. Again, it really, your individual username is up to you, and you go ahead and fill in your password, your email address. Now, the most difficult aspect of registration for the DailyFX forums will be figuring out these letters in the box here. Now, I'm a semi-intelligent person, but I have a very difficult time figuring out which letters and numbers to use. Now there is a reason for this madness. It helps with security, but I would suggest just going ahead and keep on clicking that refresh image until something comes through that you can actually identify and see. Then you can go ahead and enter your birthday, but you can decide whether or not to display that to other forum members. And then also, if you were referred by somebody, you can enter that information there. The time zone, that should default to your computer, but you should double check and make sure. And then you can opt in, and I would suggest opting in for these emails in terms if the administrators want to go ahead and send you some notices about the forum, and then you would complete registration. Now what happens is they would send you an email to the email address that you put up here, and that email will include a link, and all you would have to do is go ahead and click on that link, and that link will bring you inside the forum, and you would now be a member of the DailyFX forums. Again, this is Matt Russell. Thanks for listening.